Hello Arizona, here's another video featuring Permaculture Dan. The following is an educational permaculture video presented by Warner's Tree Surgery featuring Daniel Lee Thompson at his home food forest in Gilbert, Arizona, sometime in April 2012.
Okay. So, Yuma was Camp Yuma on an island in the delta of the Gila River where it emptied into the Gulf of California. This was the first establishment. We wanted to meet the land expeditions, and they began their boat building industry. They were building the Armada of Spain from the west coast trees. Because in 1540, 1640, 1740, that 300-year period, yeah, the entire Armada, which was a huge Armada of Spain, was built. 65-gun ship of the line required 1,000 100-year-old oak trees for every one of those ships. Because they had so many bends in so many bends, so many facing this way. In fact, the virgin forest planking, they could plank a tree with an adze. They could plank a tree with an adze. They would go up one side, down the other, drive a wedge in the top, let the sunlight, this would be on the sunny side of the tree in the hot afternoon sun, you name it that way, and it will explode the board right off the tree. And so if I have 500 trees all facing this way, I go make a cut off of each one. I go pump, 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 pump. Then I go pump, 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 pump again. Then you lay them, and they've warped in the sun. And you'll find that they will warp, because you cut them out this way, they will warp and make the perfect bending areas that they need for the pieces for the ships. Now wait a minute. Look at the knowledge that's going on here. And not one measuring tool other than a stick and a line and a piece of charcoal. And get it all right. Anyhow, we took the overburdened part, and this is where we are.
So the Spanish Armada came from...
Yeah. The West Coast forest, because even though they discovered...
Even the ones in Arizona.
Right, even the ones, all of Arizona. And that's why the Basques, who were the boat builders, named Arizona, which is two words in Basque, which means good oaks.
See, I'd read that in your brochure, and I thought, that can't be right. How could the Spanish Armada have come from Arizona?
That's right. Well, they gave up. Now, think about this. This is pretty shrewd. The English, from 1492 on, the English on the East Coast were fighting, the French and the English were fighting over who gets to rape the East Coast forest. Spain backed out and said, oh, we'll secede these territories to you, but you got to agree that we get the whole West Coast. In fact, they didn't know for 16 years that the Russians were coming in from the north. They didn't even know. Why? Because they were so far apart. Yeah. And what the Russians were doing, they were taking all the furs, all of the millions and millions and millions of sea otters that lived in the kelp forests off the coast of California, all the way from Tierra del Fuego to Alaska.
Now, was this kind of common knowledge with your grandfather?
Yeah, all of the old stuff. This was the amount of the people around him as well. These are guys who lived this stuff. Yeah, and each one of these guys came from different backgrounds. Some Germans, some French, some this. And then the logic of it began to hit me. When I studied geology, we have a southwestern formation called penoplanation, which is a ridgeline of rocks and this one sloping plain to the one river channel in the bottom. Sound familiar? That's everywhere. That's the erosional shape after you take everything away. That's what you're left with. This is a detritus pile from the systematic deforestation of canyon after canyon after canyon after canyon. There was a piece of mining hydro equipment that we'll talk about it in a second.
This video was made in Gilbert, Arizona. The person talking is Dan Thompson. Dan can be reached at 480-688-3335.